I bought every 22 LR load to see what they'll do in these massive blocks of ballistic gel. And I'll be breaking up these loads into 4 different sections, shooting each out of a rifle and pistol length barrel, as well as getting their velocities. In between each of these sections will be an exotic round, and I can't believe this one is legal to own, but let's get things started off with the weakest 22 loads available. What is going on here? It looks like they penetrated about the same depth, but the handgun, I guess, pulled itself back to about the 2-inch mark. The other one penetrated about 5 1/4 inches. I really was not thinking anything was going to make it out of the block, but holy shiteballs was the rifle close. Both of the bullets actually ended up backwards in the block, and the handgun was about half the distance. That is a crazy difference. They weren't kidding about being freaking segmented. Both of those segmented perfectly, but there is barely any penetration to speak of, kind of like me. But this long boy should provide better penetration, and it's our first exotic round. Maybe too exotic though. I don't even want to say what it looks like going down range. What did I tell you? Look at that freaking wound channel right there. I mean, not so much with the handgun, but it looks like both of them tumbled because both of the bullets are facing backward. And don't worry, I'll tell you where you can get the massive list of all these data points later. Say hello to my ballistic gel banana cart. I ran out of yellow spray paint. It tilts. It rolls, kind of, out here. And it even, I'm just kidding, it really doesn't do much else than that, but that's the banana cart. Round number 2, Subsonic solids, which I'm thinking these might be pretty underwhelming, but who knows? Not surprisingly, I already stand corrected. Not too much to speak of out of the 16-inch barrel, but that handgun, look at that wound channel right there. It must have tumbled, I guess. And that's only the first solid. It looks like a freaking mosquito bit my forehead. Come on now. Little wound channels, but not too much to speak of otherwise. Forget what I said about the solids. I am starting to become super impressed with them. At least out of the handgun. I mean, look at that wound channel right there. That is freaking nuts. The long barrel down there is just a pencil line for some reason. Decent performance with the handgun, but other than that, not too much to speak of. Other than that one went through the whole freaking block. Not too shabby out of either. Absolutely awesome wound channels out of both of those this time. Surprisingly, this time the 16-inch made a much wider wound channel, and as you can see, it almost intersected with that bullet there. Looks like it kind of did. Pistol bullet was still a pretty decent wound channel. Pretty decent wound channel. And guys, these freaking caterpillars are crawling all over my stuff. All over my stuff. Like, guys, get off! Yet again, the 16-inch left a massive wound channel, but this time it kept going till it went out the 16-inch block. Freaking nuts, and somehow the handgun bullet ended up backwards. Decent, and surprisingly, these ones almost penetrated the same depth. We haven't seen that yet. So many caterpillars. That's it. Make your way. No, don't go that way. Come on. Not a whole lot to speak of other than the 16-inch went the whole way through the block. Yet again, the 16-inch went the whole way through the block. The handgun wasn't even close. Last solid! looks like that one was a pretty good one to end on because that left a massive wound channel out of the 16-inch, and even the handgun did pretty decent. Whew, I think we're finally done with the Subsonic solids. Round number 2.5, I guess? Subsonic hollow points, which I'm wondering if they'll have enough velocity to reliably expand. That is probably the most impressive wound channel yet, and that was out of the handgun. And the 16-inch actually went the whole entire way through the block. Pretty sure it's safe to say it did not expand. I don't know if you could hear it or not, but it sounded like the block farted when I shot it with the handgun. Pretty funny. This is the first time today that the handgun outpenetrated the rifle. Only by 1/8 of an inch though. As you could see, the rifle length expanded and then the handgun did not, but surprisingly the handgun wound channel looks more significant. Guys, I think I found a new retirement plan. Gather up all the worm caterpillar things and start a silk farm.
Those aren't silkworms.
Shit. Man, the 16-inch barrel left a nice wound channel. As you can see, the handgun wasn't anything spectacular, but the funny thing is, I don't think it expanded at all. And as you can see, I think we've exhausted all the real estate on this side of the block, so it's time to do the flip. Actually, flip. And guys, a big thanks to Midway USA for providing the blocks. Without them, the gel portion of this test would definitely not be possible, so I really appreciate Midway USA for sponsoring this channel. And guys, if you're needing any clear ballistic gel products, I would definitely recommend checking them out. Also, make sure to check out their new free rewards program while you're there. Now let's hope I don't hit any of these other bullets, No freaking way. They both expanded. The handgun not quite as much, obviously, but they almost penetrated the exact same depth as well. That is pretty consistent performance. Pretty much textbook expansion with the 16-inch. The handgun, though, actually looks like it got expansion on the wrong side of the bullet. I guess it might have impacted with that bullet right there. Neither one really had a significant wound channel, but as you could see, the expansion on the 16-inch barrel was pretty significant. And then the handgun actually expanded as well on the nose. And the path is slightly curved, just like me. Pretty decent wound channel out of the handgun, no expansion though, and pretty decent wound channel out of the rifle, and we got some pretty dang good expansion down there. Exotic round number 2, tracers. They're either going to be really cool or a really big dud. No refunds though. Says here the intruder combusted from the inside out. I really wouldn't know, officer. Guys, pardon my French, but that was so fucking awesome to watch in real time. As you could see, it left some mushroom clouds inside that gel. Actually, it left a giant wound channel before on the handgun. Rifle wound channel looks pretty good too. Round number 3, high velocity. These are probably the ones you grew up on or stockpile, most likely. I think I'll finish out this block with the rest of the high velocity solids, and then I'll get a new block. Handgun wound channel, and there's the bullet, and the rifle actually left a gigantic wound channel down there, and it went the whole way through the freaking block. Seems to be almost identical wound channels, but the handgun bullet definitely did not go through. It tumbled again. The 16-inch one went straight through the freaking block. I can actually see a lead spot here. I'm not sure which one that was from, but they need to stop ruining my table. Looks like we have the fight of the ages coming up. You're going the wrong way! I can't be for sure yet, but it seems like all the high velocity solid rifle bullets are just gonna go straight through the freaking block. The handgun, on the other hand, did not make quite as big of a wound channel as the plated bullet, but it actually went a little bit deeper. Wait, is that the same exact bullet as the last one? I think my suspicion may be correct, although it left a much wider wound channel on the handgun, came to about the exact same point, and then the 16-inch one left a much wider wound channel in the middle down there, if you could see that, and then it went straight through the block, so pretty sure they're all going to go through the block. That 16-inch left a massive wound channel up front and went straight through the block. The other one kind of yawed a little, it looks like, and it ended up right about the same spot as all the other ones. Surprisingly, those didn't go as deep this time, and that's the first high velocity solid out of the 16-inch that didn't go the whole way through. Nice wound channel on the 16-inch, straight in and straight out, just like me. And the handgun also had a pretty decent wound channel as well, and it almost made it the whole way through the block. And what did I tell these bullets to stop doing? Stop damaging my freaking table! Guys, let me know how many bricks of Thunderbolt you shot growing up. 16-inch, nice wound channel straight out. And then the handgun bullet looks like it got pretty dirty, but that is one of the shallowest penetrations of any of the solids. Two more and then on to the good stuff. Nice wound channel with the 16-inch and then straight out. With the handgun, it had a pretty decent wound channel and it actually went a little bit deeper than the last bullet. Not a crazy amount though. Last solid of round 3 anyway. Pretty much a pencil channel with the 16-inch, and then the handgun had a decent wound channel, well actually a pretty decent wound channel, and it's back to our normal range of penetration. Out with the old and in with the new. On second thought, I think I'm just gonna move the old back. Warning, my hands may cause cancer in the state of California after this. Now's where things should get interesting. Well, they were already kind of interesting, but more interesting. With high velocity hollow points. Absolutely violent. Those pedals went everywhere, and we actually had one go out the top and one out the side. Still though, about the same performance between the handgun and the rifle. I can already hear everyone online saying, "Arm score."
Damn right.
And what is up with that velocity? Nice wound channel and perfect expansion out of the 16-inch. Nice penetration as well. The handgun had a nice wound channel, but there is still no expansion. Man, look at that perfect mushroom with the 16-inch. And there was actually some expansion with the handgun as well. Those are some pretty decent wound channels. The handgun tumbled, but it did not expand, as you can see. The 16-inch had perfect expansion. Holy shit, guys, they found steel. We're all in for it now. I guess longer isn't always better, because the shorter barrel actually went much deeper than the longer barrel. It's counterintuitive as it sounds, but the longer barrel had much better expansion. Actually, the short barrel didn't expand at all. Oh, the mini mag, the Lord's bullet, if he likes 22. Two pretty decent wound channels, but again, the handgun didn't freaking expand, it just tumbled. Perfect mushroom on the rifle though. Reminds me when I was a boy. The wound channel on the handgun looks way more impressive, but somehow it still did not expand. Perfect expansion on the rifle bullet though. You hear that freaking wind? And are any of these handgun bullets gonna expand? Well, I guess we already had some earlier. Nope, not this time with the handgun, and that is a strange looking wound channel out of the 16-inch. Perfect expansion though. Virtually the same exact results as the last bullet, but we did get a little bit of fragmentation with the rifle. Most 22 manufacturers will stamp their name or their initials on the rim, but Herders, with all their wisdom, decided to stamp 22 on the rim, so I guess you know what you're shooting? Thanks, Herders. Finally, some freaking expansion on the handgun. That is a nice looking mushroom. And there was some fragmentation on the rifle. Pretty impressed with that. Exotic round number 3, rat shot, or shot shell. Kind of looks like we put a little nose on him. If you ever tell me your carry gun has shot shell or rat shot loaded in it, I may be doing this, but just know I'm really doing this deep down. I've had that happen before, but anyway, let's see how it does. Not even as much penetration as some BB guns. That is freaking crazy. There is basically no difference between the rifle and the handgun. So would I recommend these for self-defense? Absolutely not, but you can do whatever you want. And finally, round number 4, hyper velocity solids to start. Hey, do you want to see my truncated tip? No, I meant the bullets. And there's still no freaking expansion with the handgun. Oh wait, it wasn't supposed to expand. Okay. Anyway, the nose on the rifle though seemed to expand a little bit. Producing a little over 200 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, this is the most powerful 22 that I'm aware of. I can almost feel the extra energy out of the rifle, but anyway, the wound channels, both of them appeared to be almost identical, and both bullets almost made it out the block. Hey, do you want to see my purple round nose? These freaking bullet names, huh? That is an absolutely massive wound channel out of the handgun, and it almost went through the freaking block. It's right in between the two. And I guess the bullet was going so fast out of the 16-inch barrel that it literally mushroomed out. A solid mushroomed out. That is crazy.
That's not hypervelocity.
Look again.
Oh.
Very nice and almost identical wound channels between the two, and surprisingly the handgun didn't go as deep this time. I don't know if you can really see the rifle bullet in there, but the nose actually expanded again. Freaking crazy. I think the caterpillars finally got the memo. I could actually feel the recoil a little on that one, but anyway, we got a massive wound channel with the handgun, and not quite as much penetration out of the rifle, but it actually expanded again. Last solid of the day. Norma's like, we gotta be the fastest 22 in the world. Just put 6 feet a second over whatever Aguila did, even though we don't hit anywhere near those numbers. What in the absolute hell? We got terrible performance there. I'm really glad that I had the extra blocks back here. 2 pinholes, and guys, you're never gonna believe it, but the bullet on the handgun actually went deeper than the rifle here. Now I see why they discontinued it. It's time for hypervelocity hollow points. I am super excited about these ones if you can't tell. They weren't kidding about that 3-to-1 expansion, huh? I mean, it's way more pronounced with the rifle down here, but the handgun's still pretty pronounced as well. What's crazy though is the base of the bullets went super deep, and the handgun actually went deeper. Nice looking wound channels, and it's about freaking time. We got a nice mushroom with the handgun for once, and the rifle bullet down here didn't go quite as deep, but it started separating back here, as you could see. Nice looking wound channels, and we got another freaking mushroom, guys. 2 mushrooms actually, and this one started fragmenting out of the 16-inch barrel. Where have these hypersonic 22 bullets been all my life? Just kidding, they're actually pretty expensive, compared to regular 22 rounds at least. Excellent looking wound channel out of the handgun, but surprisingly, the nose really didn't expand that much at all. We got a freaking perfect mushroom with the rifle though. Guys, it's real hard to beat a stinger, or stanger, but I'm really thinking that this next one might be the best. Those did a freaking number on the block. There's a handgun, there's the rifle. That thing freaking fragmented like a motherfucker. Exotic round number 4 in our final round of the day, blue tip. Emax Tactical was nice enough to send me what are easily the most exotic and somehow legal 22 rounds. Okay, they're really not that crazy, but if they unleash inside the block, who knows what'll happen. I don't know, I couldn't really tell if they did anything in the block. We'll have to review the slow-mo footage. But anyway, I mean, nonetheless, really impressive performance. And guys, other than the blue tip round sent to me by Emax Tactical, I can't tell you how many months and how many different places it took to find all these different bullets. And I know it's just 22 ammo, but it still came out to be pretty freaking expensive. So if you want to support the channel for more testing videos in the future, I would really appreciate if you checked out my new Patreon. And this month, you'll get my gigantic sheet of all the data points in this video and then some.
Every 22. I didn't see any Velocitor, uppercut, or anything super high-end.
There's just no appeasing you. No, I'm just kidding. I reached out to CCI over 2.5 months ago about both of these rounds because I couldn't find them anywhere. Still haven't heard anything back, and high-end ammo really isn't the best for most of us to stock up on. Now what am I going to do with all these rounds?